Hello, welcome investors and traders. Welcome to our next episode of the Unusual Options Activity brought to you by Market Action app. Before we get started, here's a quick disclaimer. This presentation is for educational purposes only, and this is not investment advice. Let's do a quick recap of some of the unusual option activity that we covered in our previous video. So this is something that we discussed about getting into more puts. We sold most of them off when the stock went to 160, where we're still holding a few. And if you did held these options, if you bought one contract for $1,100, these contracts traded as high as $2,500. So you basically doubled your money. Just wow, just amazing what you can do with options. So yeah, this was because of the news that Pfizer decided to delay approval for a third dose of vaccinations for kids under a certain age. So yeah, this stock traded really down, and these options traded about $2,500, which is $25 in options is $2,500 in real value. Since every option controls 100 shares, you have to multiply the option value by 100 to get the real value. This is the price of one contract. One contract controls 100 shares if you're new to options trading. Another one, this one we covered yesterday about somebody, some of the unusual activity in Voodoo. We were actually able to get into this at a much lower price than what the person that kind of got into these. I think we got into these at around like $2.50. These are still continuing to be held, and these options are actually up today at close to $3, where we did trim some, but the open interest is still there. Volume not so much, so whoever bought these is still in this and haven't really sold them yet. So this is still a continuation, and that's something to watch out for. And we're still into these puts, and we'll be watching how the stock trades to decide if you want to stay in or continue get out of them. But so far this position is very green, close to 30% gains on these. This is another one that we covered last time. SBC calls. About 5,000 of these were traded. Stock is still trading relatively well with the downtrend. As you can see, the option interest before was about. Let me see which one of this is today's. Okay. Well, actually, the second one is today's. Because the stock did trade down a little bit. So the open interest was 5,000. Now the open interest is 6,000. Not so much volume, so whoever bought these is still in them. We're still in them as well. We're a relatively cheap option to trade. One contract, and it's even much cheaper now if you want to get into it and write this further. It's almost about $1.80, 0.80 cents, which is $80 for one contract. So we're watching these as well. And let's jump into what some of today's unusual option activity. AMAT, Applied Materials Links. This is related to the chips trade, semiconductors. And we saw some unusual option activity on 135 calls and 145 calls. Out of the money. The 145s were actually above open interest. 95 days out, and interesting. The stock had been creating good support. We were able to get into these uh, slightly lower, so we were in the Feb 135 calls because other options were a little bit more too expensive. I decided to kind of jump into the Feb calls. We got into these much lower. I think we got into these around like $3.50. So we're actually green on these. And good thing is we're trying to see if the stock runs up before its earnings. Earnings expected to be reported as highlighted here around this Wednesday after market close. So we might be taking some profit on these if the stock continues to go up around earnings. If not, we'll decide to trim this position. It's always very risky to play earnings. It's always a coin toss. But unusual activity will help you gauge some idea on which direction the bets are being made. Another one that we saw was FCX calls. This stock had a lot of unusual option activity throughout the past 12 months, and it's somewhat in a bounce mode. So we're trying to see what this person knows. Almost about 1.1 million premium tracked using our app, Market Action app, for 45 calls for April 14th expiration. So if you can see, this price is pretty fairly cheap too, about $100 per contract. We're in these, and we'll be watching them how they trade. Another one that we saw come in at end of the day today is multiple sweeps coming in, as you can see here for ticker Coinbase. Coinbase had a big Super Bowl ad yesterday, and it had been trading, creating some support and creating some lower lows during the day, which is when we saw this activity come in, and it really stopped, moved quite significantly. We decided to jump into these. We have taken the option slightly out of the money because these premiums are a bit expensive, and the bid and the ask for some of these premiums was very wide, so it was kind of hard to get a fill. That was something that we didn't like. So when I mentioned we, I think I'm talking about the community of traders and my ideas that I share with the community. And interesting thing, a note came out right around close or after close, where Oppenheimer did a press release with the title "Coinbase expects Coinbase Global Super Bowl ad expected to boost user base in the first quarter" by Oppenheimer analysts. And this was on the note. There was also some notes, and the reason we were tracking this as well was we saw news that during the Super Bowl the app had crashed for a short time due to overloads around the Super Bowl when the ad broadcasted during Super Bowl. So that was a good sign as more people flocked to the service. We'll be tracking to see if the downloads had increased or had more people been searching the name Coinbase after scanning that QR code app, which was the only app that was a bit confusing at the same time, but got people talking. And as you can see, whoever bought these options, these are already going to be green tomorrow, and even open closer to in the money if this continues. The stock has went from 195 to 198.77, and we'll continue to see tomorrow at what time is open. So it might be a little bit late to kind of jump into these, but just something to watch out for. So you could even see more flow coming into the upside. And that wraps up today's episode. Do not forget to visit marketaction.live and check out our app where you can find lots of these unusual option activities that I use personally myself and our subscribers use to trade options. Thank you for watching. Please click the subscribe button and enable notifications for as we create more and more of these videos. If you are watching us on Twitter, Facebook, or Twitch, please like, comment, and share with your fellow traders. And have a great Valentine's Day. Hope you celebrate with your loved ones. And catch you in the next video. Until then, take care and trade responsibly.